want to solve sort colors on Leetcode. Given an array nums with n objects colored red, white, or blue, sort them in place so that objects of the same color are adjacent with the colors in order red, white, and blue. We will use the integers 0, 1, and 2 to represent the color red, white, and blue respectively. So here are the samples here. Basically, we are sorting an array of 3 numbers, 0, 1, and 2, and we are ordering them, no matter how many of each number is in the given array. The first thing I'm going to do is declare 3 variables. One named first, which is the first index in the array, last, which will be the last index in the array, and temp, which won't have any data type. It'll just be a declared variable, which will equal null. The next thing I'm going to do is create a for loop and iteratively loop through the last variable. And I'm not going to include the I++ here yet. That will be added later in this function. I'm going to create an if-else statement that will have 2 elses in it. I'm going to just create the skeleton of that for now. The first condition will be if the number equals 0. The second condition will be if the number equals 2, and then that leaves the last else with having to equal 1. But before I'm going to do that, I'm going to create a quick variable called num and equal that to the index in the nums array. And now I'm going to create those conditions. So this is where things get a little tricky. We're going to update our variables so that we switch them per se. And then we're going to iterate our for loop at that point if that condition is met. So what we did here was make temp equal the num. The num's index equals the first number in the index, which that then becomes the temp, and then we iterate. And this should not equal 1, this should be 2. And we are going to do the same thing as we did in the first condition, except we're going to iterate downward from last rather than I++, and we're going to update our last variable instead of our first variable. And then last but not least, it has to equal 1. And if it equals 1, we're just going to iterate the I index. Let's run the code. Accepted. And we have an error here. And there's one thing I forgot here. I need to add first plus plus and iterate it. Let's submit. And it's accepted. This is an O of n runtime, which is linear time complexity, and this is an O of 1 space-time complexity because we aren't adding any more data to the algorithm as we proceed through it. Thank you so much.